And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. And it's kind of a special episode because it's something Matt and I have been talking about doing and bringing back for a bit, and the planets all kind of aligned because there was shit all to talk about in the news this week. So we're kind of bringing back Cape TV, which was our special TV show we did for a little bit.
Yeah, where there wasn't like anything of note in news in comic books and movies really. So yeah.
There was little stuff there was talk. What is it? Gambit got a release date, but who cares about that?
And it got wasn't it like Valentine's Day? That's like where movies go to die. So yeah.
Really. Unless your name is Deadpool. There was Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner leaving the Harley Quinn book, but that was bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
I am excited to see what they do next. Tom King is going to be writing a special Swamp Thing one-shot.
Okay, I guess.
Sure, I liked it when Swamp Thing showed up in Batman for a little bit. That was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was a really good standalone issue. I hope that continues. I'm actually probably more interested in what Tom King has to say about Swamp Thing than I've been interested in what Tom King has to say about Batman for a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. His Batman's not very good.
It really isn't. And there was a point where I think people would yell at you for daring to say that, but I think after War of Jokes and Riddles, I think a lot of people have turned on it now.
Yeah.
I feel a little safer saying that. Now, also this week, Matt, I noticed for 2 weeks in a row, you and I have been coordinating shirts without even trying.
Yep.
We wore blue 2 weeks ago. We wore black last week. Please tell me we're not wearing the same shirts this week.
No, I got my Del Cooper Twin Peaks shirt on.
Oh good. We didn't coordinate outfits this week, everybody. It's fine. I guess before we even just hop into TV proper, though, one kind of story that I'm sure people want to get our opinions on, and if we don't get it out now, we might not. They dropped the New Mutants trailer just recently.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good horror film. It's not a comic book movie. It's just a horror film.
No, I'm like, wow, that if you cut the ending off and didn't say New Mutants or didn't say the word mutant, people would have no way of knowing it was an X-Men movie.
Exactly. If you just showed the trailer before, like after the Marvel logo at the start comes up, they were saying, "Oh, what's this new horror movie? Is this Insidious Chapter 5? What's going on?"
I think it's a perfect encapsulation of everything that Fox is currently doing wrong and kind of doing right with their superhero properties, where it's like, look, we have no fucking idea what we're doing with these. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. We're just throwing anything at the wall. Sure, we'll make Deadpool a weird romantic comedy with a bunch of dick jokes. Sure, we'll make Wolverine some weird post-apocalyptic western thing. And yeah, you know what? We have this great script sitting around for a young people horror movie. Can we put the New Mutants in that somehow?
That's kind of what it felt like. They had like a spec script for like a generic horror film, and it wasn't doing well or something. So we'll just change all these characters to the New Mutants. They're new, they're hip.
Because why not? It's very Die Hard. Because no Die Hard movie after the first one was actually supposed to be Die Hard. They just had a generic action movie script, and they're like, yeah, but what if John McClane was in it though?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, could be good for them, could be bad for them. I mean, again, I think this has about as much to do with the New Mutants comic as, I don't know, I have to do with a Stairmaster self-deprecating fat joke.
Well, I think there are parts in it that apparently were from the comic. I'm not too really familiar with the New Mutants, but there was some part with a coal mine or something that people said was from the comics that was in the trailer or something. And yeah, I don't know.
We got that girl from Game of Thrones because we got the other sister as the Phoenix, so we're just gonna get all the Game of Thrones actresses we can get our hands on. Actually, no, that's double true because Domino is Daenerys' little handmaiden, so there you go. They're just going through all of the actresses of Game of Thrones.
I don't think Domino's the same actress in that. I think they're different actresses.
Isn't it? Am I crazy? Am I making shit up again? Last week, I thought John Boyega was in Black Panther, when turned out he was only rumored to be in Black Panther.
I think so. I think you are.
Am I crazy? Am I crazy, Matt? Have I finally gone crazy? Am I in the crazy mutant insane asylum? Is that my power? I'm crazy talk. I just say shit that's not true. Is that who I am now? Look, I'm gonna go to the thing. I'm gonna look this up. Is what I'm gonna do. Just to make.
I am 100% sure that it is not her.
I am 100% sure. I'm 100%. I will take all the hundreds together, and then we'll see.
Totally 100% sure it is not the same person.
Okay, we're getting close. We'll figure this out. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't see. So I'm crazy talk. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, fair enough. But they did have Peter Dinklage, technically not an actress, but there you go. They are working through the cast of Game of Thrones. My joke still stands technically, Your Honor.
Just different characters.
Different characters, but kind of. We live in a world where you don't have to be right anymore, Matt. You just have to believe in your gut. And just say crazy things, and people will choose to agree or not. But yes, so on that note, everyone, there was a big week for TV this week in comic book town. In fact, I would argue it's probably the biggest time for comic book TV as it stands right now. It feels like there's a show on every night now, because there basically is.
I know the DC TV stuff moved for 2 shows a night, I think. Or
yes,
it was like Supergirl and Flash or something, and then Supergirl and Legends, and then Arrow on the other night or something. I don't know. They moved them all around, but we do, once Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gets back, there's like a show every night, basically. Yep,
it's gonna be nuts. And so Matt and I have watched just about everything that's come out. I know we talked a little about these in the previous episode of the Comic Multiverse, but I figured we'd go through these in like a semi-night order. We talk about how we feel, and we kind of give them like a little report card, is what we'll call this, for what we've been watching and what we've been liking and what we hope to see.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll let you go first, Matt, because you're obviously the resident super expert. Supergirl came back for season 3, and their first episode back was called Girl of Steel.
Yeah, so this picks up, I think it was like 6 months after. They usually go real time, these shows, from when the last episode of the last season aired. It was a pretty good episode. It was Supergirl fighting blood sport. He's like a D-list Superman villain.
But there was a lot of that on the CW shows.
Yeah, and she's also having to deal with the fact that obviously Mon-El left Earth because he couldn't survive on Earth after the season finale, and she's got to sort of deal with being either Supergirl or Kara Danvers. I was about to say Kara Kent. She's got to be one or the other, and she's choosing the Supergirl side a little bit more, and she's kind of shutting everyone out. And
classic super dilemma.
And Bloodsport, he's a real supervillain in this. He's got like a submarine that fires missiles, and
nice.
All this stuff he's like classic mustache twirling supervillain.
Which Bloodsport is he? Because there's 2. There's like kind of a Hispanic looking guy with a red bandana, and then there's like another dude who has a white costume and an iron cross.
I think they kind of changed it a little bit because he's African American in the show, but I think he's meant to be the one with the red bandana. I think.
Okay, so he's the first guy. Okay, he's the first Bloodsport. He's Dubois is who he's supposed to be, not Trent.
Yeah. We also got a new villain. Morgan Edge is now going to be a villain, and he's played by Adrian Passar.
Oh, nice. That's good casting.
Yeah, and he's coming in, and he's kind of going to be... He looks like he's going to be like the foil for like Jimmy and maybe Cat Grant and
the suit-wearing villain.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And because he's trying to like buy Catco and all this sort of stuff, and then it ends up that Lena Luthor buys Catco, and yeah, it's a pretty interesting episode. I might have to watch it again because they also introduced Rain, the overall villain. Yeah, but she's not a villain yet. She's just a normal person on Earth with a daughter, and I don't know. I don't really know what's going to be happening with her, but I think I might need to watch the episode again.
Man, Supergirl, when you tell me all this stuff about her, where it's like, yeah, they got Morgan Edge and Bloodsport, and they got all this other stuff, and I'm like, man, why can't movie Superman have nice things like this?
I know, right? I know.
It's like, oh, who's Superman gonna fight this week? Oh, either like Lex Luthor or Zod, or either Lex Luthor or Zod. I'm like, he has other villains.
Yeah.
He has other villains. He has other scenarios. I don't know. I guess this
We'll
is
just
just one of the many ways.
We'll just shoot them all in the head like they do, like KG Beast and Jimmy Olsen.
There you go. Break their necks, punch them through walls.
Yeah.
Easy as that. I guess this is just one of the few, or one of the many situations where it's like, man, TV for being slightly cheaper, man, TV just lets you get away with more and just lets you do more.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess because those villains, maybe they don't have to worry about the movies using them at all. Like, oh, no one cares about this villain, we'll use them.
They'll never get to... Yeah, I mean, you're probably not wrong. That probably helps a lot. Yeah. So yeah, that's Supergirl. You're giving it your seal of approval. You dig Supergirl?
It was a pretty cool episode. I'm interested to see where this season's going to go because it seems a lot darker than the last season.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, moving on from there to the other big CW show that you and I love. The Flash was this week.
Yeah.
Flash Reborn, which is very close to Flash Rebirth, which was basically the story they were taking a lot of notes from.
Kinda, yeah.
I remember when he went away in the Speed Force at the end of season... it was season 3, right? Yeah, it was season 3. Mm-hmm. You and I were kind of complaining where it's like, oh god, at least it was over. You know, season 3 of The Flash, as much as we like Flash, it hit a bit of a slump, we both agreed.
Yeah, and it was probably partly due to the fact they used the same plot the third time in a row.
Again and again, evil speedster villain, yeah. Hit a lot of the same points. We kind of took a bet, too, at the end of that, where it's like, okay, how long into season 4 is it going to take for Barry to actually come back? And the answer is at least half an episode before he came back.
At least 20 minutes.
At least 20 minutes. But they do say he was gone for a long time.
Yeah, again, like 6 months or something.
At least 6 months. Where it's funny, Iris, a character who, man, Iris is done dirty by this show. Either she's completely useless, either she's like the damsel in distress with no real motivation, or they're threatening to kill her, or now in this newest season where it's like, okay, how do we salvage her character? How do we give her something to do? Ooh, let's make her a real pain in the ass.
It's true. It's true.
We'll have her yell at and pick fights with all the characters we like. How about that?
Yeah, for no real reason whatsoever.
That'll get her over. That'll make audiences like her. Poor Iris, man. It's just every time they try and do something with her, I applaud them for trying, but at the same time, I'm just like, this doesn't work.
It's like the Lois Lane sort of situation, whereas she actually became a character and actually had a background. You can't really do that with Iris West because she hasn't had the kind of background Lois has had.
It's funny, too, because it's like, as this episode starts off, they're fighting Peekaboo. Hey, another great John's villain. Nice to see her make a comeback. And it's like, oh, it's taken, Vibe and Kid Flash, everything they have to stop her, even though her only power is she can teleport, so it feels like they should have been able to stop her quicker, but whatever. And, like, what is it, Iris, she's like, oh, I'm the team leader now. I'm running things back at the office because, Cisco has to be out in the field, and Caitlin ran off. And I'm like, oh, well, at least she learned to work the computers in that 6 months. That's something. But then it dawned on me, and I don't know if this hit you, Matt, where it's like, hey, Iris, don't you have a job at the paper? Have you, not been going into work for the last 6 months?
I, got halfway through this episode, and I'm like, hey, Iris is, a reporter or something. Why isn't she reporting, doing her job that she gets paid for?
Exactly. It's like, do you not have a job anywhere? Furthermore, with, H.R. Wells gone and everything, and, Star Labs not even really being Star Labs anymore, who's paying Cisco for being there? Who's keeping the lights on in this building? Yeah,
shouldn't the building be, scheduled for destruction or something? Demolition?
You would think. You really would. I just imagine, Cisco is out there, cashing his welfare checks, cashing his unemployment to try and make sure the thing stays running.
Did they end up fixing it? Because I know they keep using that shot of it, that aerial shot, and it's still got that big explosion hole in it from the very first season.
I don't think we got to see the exterior. No, we didn't get to see the exterior this episode, so for all we know, it's still fucked up.
Yeah, because for the longest time, that was one of my main complaints. You couldn't just spend a day to fix up the building a little bit.
I guess maybe he asked for a loan from Felicity and the show Arrow. Hey, can we have some money?
Oh, Jesus.
we're keeping you relevant. Can we have a little money, please, to fix this and keep the lights on? keep the internet connected, please. Because he talks about like their satellite and shit. I'm like, you guys are still running satellites too?
Yeah, he takes pride in knowing that he owns a satellite. How do you own a satellite?
That cannot be cheap. Now they've just been skipping meals. They all have to share the same cup of ramen noodle. But yes, so the whole thing of the episode is Cisco, he's been working on a way to bring Barry back because, of course, and Iris is mad at him for this.
Yeah, I don't really know why. She's mad at him, but at the same time, she's missing him.
I guess the idea is supposed to be she's like, oh, well, I put I put Barry behind me. I've moved on. I don't want to tear the Band-Aid off that wound. But it's so clear you haven't, though.
Yeah. She's still staying in their apartment and always thinking about him and everything.
Yeah, you can't tell us you've moved on when you haven't really moved on. It doesn't work that way, and this leads to an oh-so-classic Flash moment that, again, happened way too much in Season 3, and it's a trope I really hope they put to bed. The, how dare you do this behind my back, Cisco? I thought we promised we'd all be honest with each other.
yes, excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't want to bring
and
back
I'm like,
my
oh
friend.
My God, we're only... Yeah, really, I'm like, oh my God, we're 20 minutes into this, and we're already fighting over who's not talking to who anymore. God damn. But again, that's really all, like, none of that really mattered because, of course, they were going to bring Barry back anyway. But to do that, he needs to re-recruit Caitlin back into their ranks because she left because she was trying, deal with her whole Killer Frost split personality.
Yeah, and I don't really care for that story at all.
It seems like, really? So all it took for you to get your split personality under control was go work at a bar for 6 months, huh? That was it?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
And you didn't kill anyone else in this time? They do imply that maybe she joined, like, some sort of metahuman gang or something, but yeah, that's all it took. And it's funny, the actress, I love the actress who plays Caitlin, but it's funny, like, this is her idea of, like, oh, I'm bad girl Caitlin now. I work in a bar and I have a leather jacket.
That's like a running thing on the CW shows whenever something like that happens.
It really is. I'm a darker version. I have a leather jacket and my top is slightly skinnier than my other top. It's so funny, but also kind of adorable too, because it's like, yeah, that is what Caitlin's idea of being what a badass would be, just like this really lame, like, Nickelodeon school bully. I am tough now, look at me. Although I will say, one thing they did actually manage to fix is Grant Gustin, to show the passage of time, actually grew a real beard.
Yeah, not like that one he had a couple of episodes in last season or the seasons before that was an obvious prosthetic.
Yeah, not that pencily, wispy piece of shit beard that he had before. It's still patchy and looks really uncomfortable on him, but the babyface boy grew a beard for real. He grew it because they needed to stress that, all that time in the Speed Force has messed with his head now. He has Speed Force dementia.
Yeah, and he does that by drawing Inhuman symbols on the wall.
Yeah, really. Yeah, drawing Phil Coulson symbols. To Grant Gustin's credit, I did buy his insanity thing. He did sell that quite well, and maybe this is just me, but all that shit he was saying, those are lines from other episodes, right? I'm not crazy?
I think so. I know that they explained it as, like, he had some type of brain damage where, like, the word he says isn't the word he actually means or something.
Yeah.
Like, he could be saying help me, but he's saying something completely different.
Yeah, they gave a very long explanation.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't really want to go back and check it, though.
Yeah, it sounded to me like he was saying lines from other episodes, and it's funny, even in his crazy delusions, he drops reference to Oliver and Arrow, and I'm like, really, CW show? Even when he's crazy, he's got to drop reference to Arrow?
Yeah, well, at least he didn't drop reference to Felicity.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
She's the key. She's the key.
We will talk about Felicity, though, when we talk about Legends, but let's stay here on Flash for a little bit. The villain of the piece was very unexpected. It's one of Baron Katana's Samuroids, some of the very weird-ass Flash villains that no one remembers.
A really cool villain.
I'm very cool. I like that. I'm like, you know what? This is what I like, CW. I like it when you go weird. I like when it's like, yeah, we're going to take a samurai and we're going to build a whole episode about them fighting a samurai that's a robot.
Yeah, a flying robot that has jet wings.
That has a jet. Yeah, that's
awesome.
what we're going to do. It is awesome. I'm like, you know, this is what season 3 was missing. It was missing cool shit like this. I enjoy the monster of the week, supervillain of the week thing.
Yeah.
We kind of got away from that in the previous season because it felt like everything was like, oh hey, it's Savitar, oh hey, it's an evil duplicate from another universe.
Yeah.
I like that we're getting back here now. It's funny. It's like Iris read ahead in the script because she's like, look, I know how to get Barry back to himself. I will just put myself in danger and he'll have to come and save me.
Yeah, that's a very big gamble.
It's a huge gamble, and it's funny she does it right in front of her dad too. And I half expect the dad to like, dude, honey, we did not talk about this. You did not clear this with the rest of the team.
Yeah, Joe's fine. He's got his big metahuman capture gun.
That's awesome. Jesse L. Martin must love the fact where it's like, okay, so what do I get to do this season? Walk around with your big metahuman gun. Sweet.
Yeah, shoot people with it.
And it's funny, none of the other cops are like, hey, Detective West, that isn't police issue. I don't think you can go around shooting people. Well, okay, whatever.
Yeah, you don't care.
Are you going to tell the man with the big science fiction gun that he can't shoot people with his big science fiction gun? I don't think so. But yeah, it all ends in a big fight at a wind farm, which I actually thought was a pretty cool place to have a final showdown.
It's a pretty cool place, but I just couldn't help but saying, like, why does Flash have to dodge these? He can move faster than them. And they made a point just before that to say he's moving faster than he ever has before.
He's moving faster which hopefully the fact that he's moving faster than he's ever moved before means we won't have to build a huge chunk of this season around. You need to get faster, Barry. You gotta get faster.
I hope not.
Well, he's not fighting a speedster this season. He's fighting the Thinker, and we got to see the Thinker right at the end of this episode. We got a stinger with him.
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
He looks like one of the Borg. I like that.
Yeah, it looks like the Borg crossed with Metron.
That's fine. That's fine with me. That's basically all the Thinker is in the comics. Works for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Flash Reborn. Was all right. Off to a pretty decent start. Iris was grading in points, but it's clear the writers don't know what to do with her.
Yeah, I hope the show doesn't fall back into the slump like in seasons 1, 2, and 3.
I think the fact that they're not doing a speedster villain, which hopefully means we're not going to be doing well, they can't be doing another mystery villain plot because we already saw who the villain was in episode 1.
That's what I also liked about it. They didn't hide the villain. They just said, like, here he is. He's this guy. He's gonna fuck with Barry for the rest of the year.
Works for me. And we got Elongated Man coming up. We got like more crossover potential. I think they said they're going to do some more stuff with the Rogues this season. Basically everything I want to hear.
Yeah. Also, he's got a new costume, which is basically his comic costume.
Yes, it looks great. I can't believe it took 4 seasons to get there, but it looks awesome.
It does.
Because it's like, I get when he started the costume, like, oh, it's a prototype costume. It's supposed to look shitty. He's not there yet. Good, after 4 years, he's there.
Finally.
It's a much better costume. Frickin', what is it? Arrow went through multiple different costumes before he got an upgrade.
God, remember his first costume? God, that was terrible.
I unfortunately do. It was a skin in a lot of the video games and still is. So yeah, from there, from Flash, which was, pretty good, not mind-blowing, but what I wanted it to be, to a show that's premiere ultimately blew away all my expectations, and that is Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, Episode 1, Aruba-Con.
This was a great episode.
Wow, man. This episode was so surprisingly good, it made suffering through the first 2 kind of shitty seasons worth it.
Yeah, and I think it's partly due to the fact that they've kind of figured out that, okay, people aren't taking us seriously, so we're not going to take it seriously. We're going to have fun with it.
Yes, this is a perfect, like, young writers out there, take note how one little simple shift in tone can change everything about a show.
And it works with these characters as well.
It really, really does. It picks up exactly where last season left off, and that is, oh, hey, the Legends saved the day but ended up totally breaking time. What else is new?
Yeah, they always fuck up.
They always fuck up. And Rip Hunter, who promised them where it's like, okay, I'm going to go and try and reform the Time Masters, He did, only instead of being like some sort of weird Firefly, Doctor Who, Council of Time Lords thing, now they're like the Men in Black. Only
Yeah,
they're the Men in Blue.
yeah, they're like X-Files, Men in Black sort of thing. That they even have like the neuralizers.
They do, which is a total ripoff, but I'm fine with it. Yeah, the Time Bureau, this stick up its ass, like, total Office Space thing that, tries to fix time and everything, but they do it as snooty as possible. Even Rip Hunter has a new douchey, like, corporate haircut. I love that. They made him cut his hair, but it's his organization, so he made himself cut his hair. And their deal is like, look, Legends, you guys fuck up too much, we're taking it from here, which they have every right to, because they have fucked up every step of the way. They are very good.
Yeah.
But the show gets that, and the show runs with it, and the first 5 minutes had me cracking up because we get to see the Legends trying to work day jobs.
That was great. That was so great. Ray Palmer's like working at like a tech startup that's like, it's like holistic Facebook or something.
Yes. Where he's twice as old as everyone else. Then they're like, look, man, you might have built some amazing shrinking technology, but we're the future. We're now. Also, you left your company in the hands of some woman who ran it into the ground. And I'm like, that's funny for 2 reasons. 1, you're making fun of Felicity and Arrow, so you get 2 thumbs up from me. 2, you're calling out the blatant sexism of Silicon Valley. Also 2 thumbs up for me. That joke works on multiple levels. Freaking White Canary is working at a Bed Bath and Beyond, and you're like, well, why is an amazing assassin woman working at Bed Bath and Beyond? They're like, look, you've technically died and come back from the dead twice. You're lucky you get any job anywhere.
You're a person who's been reported dead twice.
And I'm like, oh my god, the weaponized self-awareness of this show is great now.
It's completely different from the last season.
Yeah, once they embraced the fact that their heroes weren't heroes and that they sucked, they actually managed to make the show great, because as we find out, Rory, Heatwave, ends up running into frickin' Caesar, who just walked out of nowhere.
Yeah, while on a beach or something.
Yeah, in Aruba, he was the one guy who made it to Aruba like he promised he would. Runs into Caesar, knows there's a problem, and they keep trying to tell the Time Bureau that there's a problem, but they don't believe them.
Because they're that bad at their jobs.
Yeah, and just like that, for the first time in 3 seasons, I'm actually sympathetic to the Legends, because this is the one time they were actually right.
Yeah, it's great. They made the heroes again. Or heroes for the first time, basically.
Yeah, and all it took was saying that they're complete and utter jokes. And to the point where it even I was trying to think of a perfect way to sum it up. I would almost say it was Deadpool-ish, but that's not even it.
No.
It's almost like Jack Sparrow-ish, where it's like they just fuck up their way into things and end up fixing the situations by fucking up.
Yeah, it pretty much is a Jack Sparrow situation.
Again, it's comedy of errors via time travel in a comic book universe, and I'm like, dope, all about it now.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm super excited to watch episode 2 now that they actually know what the show is and what it should be.
Yeah.
And they even have like great exchanges too, where it's like, well, what if we told you couldn't have the Wave Rider back and you couldn't keep being heroes? Yeah, we do it anyway.
Yeah, I like what happened to the Wave Rider as well. It's become basically like one of those flight simulators.
Yep. And they even make fun of past episodes and how they fucked up, where it's like, okay, well, how do we save this satellite? Okay, well, we send an away team, and we do this. Nor we could just shoot the meteors and be done with it. In our thing that has guns that we forget we have. So great, just being like, yeah, you guys did everything wrong. And this was all stuff you and I were complaining about in the first 2 seasons.
They listened.
Made us crazy.
They listened, and they've made the show self-aware of itself.
It really does feel like they listened to old episodes of Cape TV or just what people were saying about them online in general, and they're like, okay, you know what? We're gonna own this now.
Yeah, and they have. They totally have.
And now that they say we don't have to take the characters seriously anymore, now that they say, look, they're jokes, but they'll save the day anyway, now they have a blank check for Mayhem. Now they can literally do anything and I'll accept it.
Exactly.
Man, what one little change in tone can do for your show.
Exactly. And hopefully, like, the other shows as well take note of that as well, especially Arrow.
Yeah, well, I doubt Arrow will. Look, Arrow got this far by being completely self-serious all the time.
I told myself I'm going to watch this season of Arrow. I haven't even watched the first episode yet, but I know it's like some bullshit stuff with Earth 2 canaries and whatnot.
Yeah. Haven't watched it yet, don't plan to, because I never watched Arrow. Well, actually, no, I forced myself to watch the first half of season 1, and I'm like, this is grating. No matter how good it gets, it can't possibly justify this. But hey, from the old DC standards to some of the new players in the ring, Gifted was back for its second episode this week, and it was called RX. Get it? Because it's like a medication thing, because the episode was about getting medication, and apparently every episode of this series is going to have X in the title somewhere.
I kind of figured it would do something like that with the first episode.
It's cute. It's cute, isn't it? Look how many X's we can put in.
Yeah, I don't mind this show. As we were talking about it last week off air, and we kind of compared it to like one of those early 2000s, like teen drama sort of things that were on.
Like if this had come out the same time as Heroes, like this would have blown the walls off people.
Yeah.
It really is the same type of show, like Mutant X or like Heroes or like all this other stuff. The only thing it really has going for it, and the thing that, elevates it, is that it is X-Men and it is characters and shit we know for the most part.
Yeah, well, characters no one cares about, but people know about.
I'm like, hey, it's that one. I'll tell you, the bit in this episode that I really quite enjoyed is we see Polaris, who got arrested in episode 1 and is sent to jail. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, cool, ladies' prison, but with mutants. It's like Orange is the New Black, but in Marvel. I like it. She has a sexy shower scene where she, like, washes her hair. And, like, all the dye comes out, and you see, like, oh, her hair was all green. Because when I saw Polaris at first, I'm like, oh, really? She doesn't have green hair? She just kind of, like, dyes the ends of it? That's lame, but very TV. I'll buy it. They totally switched it up on me.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff like that. And I know, like, with Polaris, because obviously Polaris is Magneto's daughter, apparently they're going to be exploring that relationship later on in the season, once they get past all, like, world building and stuff like that.
All the getting to know you stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, too, it's a big problem at the Mutant Underground headquarters because Blink got hurt, and now she's, opening portals every which way, and they got to get some medicine to help her out. It was kind of interesting because it gets into the nitty-gritty stuff that the movies could never do, and really only the comics ever had time to explore, and that is, in a world with mutants, how do hospitals, especially crappy American hospitals, deal with servicing a whole other group of people with amazing abilities who would need different types of care?
Yeah, it's something that's never really brought up in anything, really. It's kind of touched upon in comics a little bit, but yeah, never really thought about it. I haven't even thought about it until this episode.
No, neither did I. I'm like, that's a clever place to build your episode around, actually. And it's funny, the woman, her name escapes me. She's the woman Strucker, the mom Strucker. I haven't learned any of their names yet because it's only episode 2. She rides along with Eclipse. Yeah, see, his name I know because he's someone from the comics. She rides around with him, and basically it's it's a get your human privilege checked road trip is what it is. She's just getting her privilege checked all over the place being human. Lady, you don't know how rough it is out here for mutants. And she's like, I don't. I'm a yuppie soccer mom. This is all new to me. People are being oppressed out here? What?
I didn't know this was happening. CNN didn't tell me this.
Yeah, really. Fox News didn't tell me that. I'm part of the problem? What? Even when the doctor takes her aside there, it's like, look, ma'am, are you in an abusive relationship? Is that mutant hitting you? Wait, what? Microaggressions? What? So funny. And then even by the end where she's just like, oh, I gotta get my kids back. I gotta help my kids. From that, like, very soccer mom, helicopter parent thing to the, oh no, you guys watch my kids, I gotta help this woman in need. I'm like, okay, that's character growth. That's an episode arc is what that is. That's good writing.
Yeah, it's pretty solid show, especially for one, like, when it was first announced. I was like, really? Yeah. Really?
Again, I stand by what I said, that this show, exactly as it is, if it had come out like 10, 20 years ago, we'd been like, oh man, that was a fucking masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it'd be top of the line, like top 10 TV shows probably.
Its greatest problem is that it came a little too late in its own life cycle. We we also kind of glimpse, I think, who's supposed to be the bad guy, or at least the overarching villain, because we have the Sentinel Services guys who are going around trying to round up all the mutants. We see like a creepy doctor guy in a lab coat, and in the X-Men universe, if you have a lab coat, you're probably pretty fucking evil. Dr. Campbell, who I think that's supposed to be Ahab. I think that's supposed to be.
I guess so, maybe.
I know Campbell is like a very common surname, but I'm just like, okay, Marvel, X-Men, Campbell's. Yeah, I think like Dr. Campbell, Ahab, who was like a follower of the Apocalypse, and he had like a frickin' what is it, like a hook? He was a nautical themed mutant villain. He was weird. They can't all be Magneto.
No.
Also, this episode too, when they were talking about all the different mutants groups, they're like, yeah, the X-Men and the Brotherhood. They mentioned the Mutant Liberation Front. That was interesting.
Yeah, they kind of pulling from everything now.
Which Mutant Liberation Front, that's Strife and a bunch of time-traveling mutants. I wonder if they're like, hey, we got Deadpool and Cable coming out soon. Let's drop a little reference to Strife in here.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nuts? Where it's like, hey, you see Strife on TV first.
Yeah, I am glad as well that it's not like it doesn't fall into that DC TV thing where they have to constantly reference these heroes that people know, like, hey, you remember the X-Men? I wish Wolverine was here. He would have known what to do.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes have been very non-reference heavy, which I appreciate. I mean, mainly because they can't be reference heavy, because we're probably never, ever going to see any of those characters. Yeah. Although, if we do, they'll probably do it, as you were saying, like how Legion did Professor X, and we'll see a shadowy silhouette of him.
Yeah. When does Legion come back? Does Legion come back this year or next year?
That's a good question. Didn't they say Legion was going to take a little longer to come back?
I thought, like, the season... Like season 2 had already been made or something, or it was like part way through being made by the time like San Diego Comic-Con was around.
2018 it comes back.
Okay.
I remember you and I were a little not put at ease because they're like, yeah, Legion season 1 people really seem to enjoy, and we did a bunch of comic book stuff. Yeah, for Legion season 2 we're going to be doing our own thing. Where I'm like, what was it so popular now you wanted to spin it in your own direction, or did you use up all the material? You didn't think you were going to get a season 2. You're like, oh fuck, what do we do now?
We'll trap him on a farm like on Walking Dead.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that works. Trap him there for a whole season and find out what he was actually looking for was in the barn right next door, even though the timelines don't add up at all of how that could have worked. That's a great way to save money. That won't annoy people. That won't make people stop watching.
No, it won't.
I mean, really, like, Legion was so good on its own and such like a weird experimental art piece. I don't know what you do for season 2. I don't know how you top that.
Should completely reinvent the show and just go like standard, like have that really weird season, then come back to like standard TV format, just to throw everyone off.
I mean, they could do that, and Legion is such a mindfuck show. They could absolutely do that. Like, they could reintroduce the show, and you're meeting, like, David again, and you're meeting all these characters you've never met before, and it's a completely different... Like, now it's a workplace comedy, but all the same actors show up.
Yeah, they could do that, and it'd make complete sense.
It would, where it's like, okay, well, this is just fucking weird. This is all just a creation of his mind, and you never know if it's real, so you're absolutely right. They could totally screw with the genre.
This is David's workplace comedy persona.
Yeah, exactly. This is him when he was really trying to make it as a comedian in New York, and this was him really working hard on his Type 5.
This is him when he binge-watched The Office on Netflix.
And then every couple of minutes, you just have, like, some weird David Lynchian shit with, like, the clocks turning backward and a bunch of really interesting color theory, and you don't know what year it is, and no one ever tells you. That was one of my favorite things about Legion, where you legitimately didn't know what year anything was taking place in.
No, it looked really good. It was a really good show.
Because you had, like, women with these big beehive hairdos, but you had people on cell phones, but then you had, like, people in 70s suits. It was really interesting like that.
Yeah.
Real mindfuck. So yeah, Gifted. Gifted's pretty cool. I have added Gifted to my watch list. That airs Mondays, and, like, I will continue to watch Gifted.
Totally, yeah.
Good job, Gifted. I know we talked a lot of shit about you before you started, but I can say you actually what is it, met and exceeded my expectations in many ways.
Totally, yeah.
Now, another show that I think a lot of people shit on, us including in the first episode, but I think it's actually managed to come a very long way. I think it aired like its 5th or 6th episode this week, and it's a show I don't think anyone expected us to talk about, but fuck it, it's our show, it's TV time, let's talk about it. The Orville.
Oh god, the Orville, man. Orville's so good.
How is the Orville so good, Matt? Like, literally. Like, people are, like, probably thinking they're fucking crazy. They're talking about the Orville? I didn't watch that after episode 1. Yeah, I wouldn't have either. I put episode 2 on the background while I worked, and then I actually got into it.
Yeah.
Then I watched episode 3, and I'm like, holy shit, I think I'm a fan of this now.
Yeah, it's Star Trek: The Next Generation, but single camera comedy, basically.
Yeah, but with dick jokes. It has all the same big ideas, because clearly that's what appealed to Seth MacFarlane. And it's better too, because like it is like an ensemble show. Like, one of the things that you and I chat on about episode 1, where it's like, oh great, here we're watching Seth MacFarlane's self-insert, self-jerk-off show where he gets to be Captain Kirk, just like he did in A Million Ways to Die in the West and all this other stuff. But then you watch episode 2 and it's like, oh, he wrote himself out of this for like 60% of it.
Yeah. Oh
god, it's actually focusing on the other characters. Oh god, the other characters are actually really fascinating and really cool.
Yeah, he built these characters up really, really well. Like, you got like the his wife, who's a pretty interesting character.
Yeah.
Who I hated at first because of what she did.
Because we were supposed to. Clearly, MacFarlane based that on some relationship that actually happened to him.
That felt all too real.
Oh yeah, like this is clearly also him working through getting cheated on at some point.
Yeah. You got his friend the pilot.
Oh yeah, the drunken pilot who actually kind of had a focus episode this week. This week's episode was called Krill, and we got to learn about what are essentially like the big evil aliens of this series. You know, they're Klingons, they're Romulans, they're, you know, what have yous.
Yeah, we saw them in the first episode, and then we didn't see them for a long, long time until this episode.
Yeah, where we actually learned their deal. And, you know, very, very fittingly and very Seth MacFarlane-y, they're a group of, you know, outer space, you know, religious fanatics.
Yeah, and it works perfectly.
It does. You know, it's funny because, like, I was thinking of this and I was thinking of Star Trek Discovery and how they showed, like, the new Klingons on that show. I'm like, oh, so both shows came to the same conclusion, and that is, okay, what are we going to do for our villains? What if ISIS but in space? I like both shows.
And they executed it in 2 different ways.
2 very different ways, yeah.
Yeah.
2 absolutely different ways. So basically, yeah, Seth MacFarlane's character, Ed Mercer, and his pilot buddy, they have to, basically go undercover within the Krill ship to try and steal a copy of, like, their Quran, their Bible, their religious book. Because the deal is, you know, the Federation stand-in of this show knows nothing about the Krill. They're, you know, a very, very locked off race. You know, nothing goes into their space without getting shot down, so they don't even really know their own enemy.
Yeah, very, very Next Generation. I could see like Picard and like Data doing something like this.
Oh yeah, it's very Roddenberry, but of course, you know, you get a bunch of dick jokes there with like, what are your names? Oh god, we don't know any Krill names. Chris and Devin. Yeah. Those are strange names, but all right. And of course, what is it there? Like a very Captain Kirky sort of way, you know, they meet a female Krill and they start hanging out with her, and she's actually quite nice and goes against all the stereotypes that they've built up in their minds about what the Krill are supposed to be.
Yeah, it's such a good episode.
It was a very smart episode, and then like it turns again where it's like, haha, you know, funny misunderstanding comedy. Then it turns into a bit of like, okay, well, we got to destroy this ship because they got a doomsday weapon on it, and they're going to turn it on like, you know, a peaceful colony. Oh shit, they have Krill children aboard this ship. How do we stop them without hurting the children? And then, you know, like Ed Mercer's character thinking, you know, he did like a big, you know, big guy hero thing that, you know, he saved the children and he won the hearts and minds. Only for the Krill lady to be like, no, you idiot, they're going to hate you even more now. You just created a whole new generation of Krills who are going to want to kill humans.
Exactly. It's so Star Trek.
It is very. I'm like, wow, that's for a comedy, what a downer ending was that? What balls did that have to actually have like a downer, make you think ending?
A lot of the episodes have kind of been like that, where they make you think a little bit more than you actually should.
I mean, shit, this show, I think we might have talked about it last week. They did a whole episode on gender identity and reassignment surgery. I'm like, wow, this is the sort of thing, if Roddenberry was around today, this is what he would be writing about.
Yeah, and then there was that episode where they went to that massive dome ship, and whether the people wanted to come out or not, or because it would shatter their views of the world and everything.
Also an episode too where there was an evil religious cult that was kind of abusing people, and I'm like, aha, I see what you're doing, McFarlane. He's
been able to get some pretty good guest cameos as well. He had Liam Neeson in that episode. Charlize Theron was on last week's episode as the main villain.
Yep, Kelly Hugh, I think she was the admiral this week as well.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald, he's that blob thing that appears every now and then.
One of my favorite supporting characters. Like, yeah, he's like literally Seth MacFarlane. He's cashed in all of his chips to make this show.
Yeah, and it's paying off. It's working.
It is. And it's like, here's another thing too. You're like, an actual enjoyable science fiction series on Fox. Bet they cancel this after one season. Oh, no, wait, they can't. It's MacFarlane. They don't want to piss off the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Shit. Family Guy, American Dad, this was all a lead up to the Orville so he could trick Fox into keeping a science fiction show on for longer than a season. He's got them by the balls, and it's like, look, you will make my Star Trek revival show.
You know, I wouldn't put it past MacFarlane if he made a joke like that. Like, this is
bet.
all a ruse.
You're going to make my Star Trek revival show, and you're going to make it literally around the same time as they make the official Star Trek Discovery show. What?
Well, you know what's even funny is that Star Trek show was meant to come out like last year sometime, or earlier this year, but they went through heaps of delays, reshoots and everything, and in that time MacFarlane wrote, made, created this show, and it's like better than it.
Love or hate the man, dude's a machine and he gets shit done.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was weird for me too to like something Seth MacFarlane's done, because I like washed my hands of him so long ago. I'm like, Family Guy doesn't do it for me anymore. Ted 2 was a terrible sequel. A Million Ways to Die in the West was just the worst kind of vanity project. Yeah, I'm done with everything he does now. Then I watched The Orville and I'm like, fuck, you're making me a fan again. How dare you win me back, sir? How dare you? I would have been fine just hating you from afar, but no, you had to win me back with an actual pretty cool show. So yeah, if you're like us and shat on the first episode of The Orville and didn't give it a second chance, give it a second chance, actually.
Yeah, stick with it. The episodes are just getting better and better. And pure sci-fi.
They are some of the purest sci-fi I've seen on television, like basic television, in a long time. And also, hey, if you are a Trek fan, they get crazy cool directors too. Jonathan Frakes directed an episode, or Jonathan Frakes, however you say his name.
Yeah, I think he did the Charlize Theron one. I think
he did.
The time travel one, yeah.
So they're getting actual Trek directors to direct this shit now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, in a couple episodes, we're going to get a William Shatner cameo or something.
Oh, you just know it. I mean, dude, that dude will show up for anything, so of course he will.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something for you, everybody. Now, what was the last show I wanted to talk about here? Oh, so I finally got around to watching the 2-episode pilot for Inhumans last night after putting it off.
Oh, fantastic.
My review, to perfectly sum it up, I fell asleep with about 15 minutes left in it, so I think that should tell you everything.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a perfect example of how Scott Buck also fucked up Iron Fist, and that is he's concentrating on all the wrong things.
He hates superpowers by the looks of it. He hates having to showcase that.
It's kind of amazing how they focus on literally all the wrong things. For one, we leave Adelan way too quickly. Mm-hmm. Like, we never get a chance to be like, okay, well, what's the day-to-day like here on New Adelan? You know, what's the deal here? How does it work? Is Black Bolt a good king or not? It's just boom, boom, hit the ground running. And then also for the Inhumans, that's mostly a team book, a team thing. You know, it's all the interactions. It's, hey, let's break them up and send them to Earth.
Yeah, like the episode it's on now is when they should have arrived at Earth. Like 3 or 4 episodes in. Not end of the first episode.
Yeah, let's break them up. Also, let's go to Hawaii because we want a nice little holiday destination while we're at it.
It's funny, when this episode aired, I said, like, because we knew they shot in Hawaii because there's like set photos and everything. Doesn't even look like Hawaii. It looks like they shot on a closed set in like the back of like some Burbank movie studio.
It's a very cheap looking show. Like, I think someone I read equated it to being like, this is like one of those Nickelodeon genre shows, only replace the genre with Marvel space, and that's what it is. I'm like, yeah, it does look like Xenon the Sequel or something like that. It does look like one of those Nickelodeon single camera comedies that just so happen to take place in space.
It is a very, very cheap show. There's a shot in episode 3 where one of the Inhumans, whose powers is like plant-based stuff, she like makes a path for them in the jungle, and you can see the strings pulling the plants apart. I'm like, it wouldn't take much to remove that, but you didn't.
Medusa gets done really badly.
Oh.
She gets done dirty in this, where it's like she has her big moment of like, oh, get your hands off me, Maximus. Oh, my hair. I'm like, oh, okay, you don't have enough hair. Like, Medusa in the comics is just all hair. It's like Spawn's cape. It takes up the whole frame.
Mm-hmm.
So you messed up there. Also, the effect looks really bad.
It did. And I could see why they wanted to get rid of it so quickly.
And then they cut her hair, so you never have to worry about her actually using her powers ever again.
Yep. And they don't even bother like going with like what would happen to her if that actually did happen. Like, they don't dawdle on like the psychological effects of it, of her having her powers basically removed, cut away from her.
Also, the Inhumans speak English, so let's not dwell on that.
Yeah, and they basically are humans, yet they think they're better than humans.
Right, because they're from space. Yeah, let's talk about that. The weird kind of supremacy of the Inhumans and the weird, like, caste system. Like, I don't remember there being a caste system in the comics. What's with this, like, Inhumans with powers lord over the other ones and everyone else has to work in the fucking mines? What?
There is something similar to that. In the comic at the moment, the Inhumans, Once and Future Kings, it's exactly that. There's, like, the what are they, alpha primitives?
Okay, so it used to be that way, but they changed it.
Yeah, it was like a really old thing, and that it doesn't exist anymore, and I guess that's kind of what they were trying to do here, with Maximus sort of leading them to overthrow them, but it didn't really work very well.
Yeah, where it's like every man Maximus. And it's like, the problem too, like, the show is so poorly written where it's like, well, Maximus actually is kind of making a lot of points here, guys. Like, he's kind of right. Where it's like, no, we need to go to Earth. Our kingdom is not sustainable, and we can't just keep putting a bunch of our subjects into what is essentially slavery.
Yeah, and everyone's like, no, we can't go to Earth. Earth is, for plebs.
Yeah, well, that will lead to war. I'm like, well, maybe it won't. Maybe you should try, I don't know, pursuing, like, diplomacy. But none of the heroes, none of the good characters ever have any comebacks to Maximus's plan. Like, sure, you could argue it's a bad plan, but at least he has a plan next to your no plan.
Or like, what's stopping them from moving Adelan down onto Earth and just, like, keeping that shield things so they're hidden? Just like move it to like move it somewhere where it's not going to be seen, not going to be heard, and just sort of integrate themselves into Earth.
Yeah, it's so weird. Also, too, it's like now Maximus isn't an Inhuman because they needed to give that extra dimension to him that he didn't need.
When that first came out, I think, it's going to be like a switch. He's always had his powers because his powers are the powers of suggestion, and he can control what you do. So that's what he's doing with all these Inhumans. It's his grand plan. He's using his powers to control everyone. But no, apparently that's not the case. In the most recent episode, he's just about to go through Terrigenesis again.
Yeah. It's also, too, where it's like, oh, well, he needs to have a reason for it. He needs to have a Loki complex to hate his brother. Or, maybe it's just because he's fucking crazy, because his name is Maximus the Mad. Did you miss that part? What's wrong with just having a bad guy who I'm fucking crazy?
The people who made this show didn't read any of the goddamn comics.
No, that's very clear. It's very clear they didn't. And it's funny, like, the Inhuman show is so not good that, like, it almost makes me reverse my stance on the Inhumans in the comics, where it's like, yeah, fuck these guys. These guys suck. To actually see them in live action, like, these guys are stupid. They don't know what they're doing. Their powers are a crapshoot. No.
It's funny as well because in the most recent episode, Maximus, I think it was Maximus, says like something. Oh, our Inhuman powers are so strong. Everyone on Inhumans is so strong. I'm like, the Inhumans that Shield has on tap could wipe the floor with every one of you. Yo-Yo could kill you all. Quake could kill you all.
Yeah, exactly. Yo-Yo and Quake are way tougher. Dude, the Inhuman whose power was he could blow up is stronger than you. Mr. What is it? Frickin' Ghost Rider's nephew there. What is it? Not Carter Slade, but the other dude, the dude who could set chains on fire.
Yeah.
He was cool. Hive was cool. Yeah, none of you guys are very cool, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and even like Black Bolt is someone who should be cool. I feel really bad for the actor who played Black Bolt because
he's trying.
Yeah, he's like the only one who's trying. He went through. He made up his own sign language and everything for it. He thought he was gonna be good in this, but nah.
If anyone came back, I'm okay with that guy coming back as Black Bolt in some form because he actually looks like he's putting the work in.
Yeah.
Lockjaw is cool, but he's a giant teleporting doggy, so how could he not be cool?
Yeah.
He works for the few scenes we see him. Oh, let's talk about Crystal here. Why do they keep calling Crystal Princess when she's not?
She technically is because she's Medusa's sister, and Medusa's the queen, so she would be the princess.
Would she be a princess? Because it's like you're connected.
Inhuman royalty might be different. I don't know.
I guess because it's like, well, if both the king and queen died without an heir, yeah, that technically makes you next in line for the throne, but you would be the male heir, so that would be Maximus. So, but he doesn't call himself Prince.
No, he calls himself King Maximus now.
Well, he calls himself that now. But yeah, you're right. Inhuman royalty is weird. That's just another reason where I'm like, what?
And again, it's something that's not explained at all.
And their technology is weird too. They've got like those little wrist piece Power Rangers communicators that are like cell phones and everything.
Yeah.
They can also track you, but only when the writers remember they can track you. It's also kind of weird too because it's like Medusa calls Black Bolt. It's like, oh, Black Bolt, please tell me you're okay. Lady, he can't talk. You know this. Why does Black Bolt even have a phone? Man, he would love texting.
Yeah. Why it can do all this, track them, it can call, but it can't text. You would think they'd have like a special one for Maximus that could text.
You think it would. It's like, no, you see, that's the thing, man. That's how they get you. There's a special Inhuman who deals in cell phones when he makes you pay extra for the texting function, and Black Bolt's like, no. The House of Boltagon will not pay extra for texting.
Is that same Inhuman who's basically a walking projector?
Oh, yeah, dude. That guy really got the shit end of the stick. Bring in Projector. I wish to watch a movie.
I think it might have been Mitch who said it or someone else, but it would have been cool if like his power was to project the image into the people's minds, not on like the wall.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Just making projector eyes. Jesus, they get the shit end of the stick. That is just a dice roll.
A lot of these Inhumans do, like, when they go through Terrigenesis, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you go through Terrigenesis, you get, like, the rock, like in the comics, you burst out and you've got powers and everything. Same with the one on Earth, there's, Black Bolt's friend he breaks out of prison with, his, he went through that same thing, but when you go through it on Adelan, you step into a vape chamber, and you get vape and then step out. There's no rock or anything, even though it's exactly the same crystals and everything.
Yeah, well, why is being an Inhuman lamer on the Inhuman show than it was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? You done goofed at that point.
I have no... oh my... It just infuriates me because I love these characters so much.
Me too, and it's like, man, this could have been great. Man, you almost had a movie until they got Spider-Man back. Shit.
Yeah, a movie probably would have done it justice, but this didn't. Like, I feel sorry for the people who paid to go see it in IMAX.
I'm glad to say I wasn't one of those people. I was almost one of those people, but I'm glad to say I wasn't.
It didn't even look like it was shot in IMAX. Like, they did a few, like, slow-mo stuff. I'm like, you can do that with normal cameras. You don't need an IMAX camera for that.
Yeah. So, yeah, Inhumans. Bit of a... Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, misfire. That it's like... I was really thinking about it because Scott Buck, the guy behind this, the showrunner, The other thing he did was Iron Fist, which I equally didn't enjoy. But I'm really trying to think to myself here. I'm like, what was worse, Inhumans or Iron Fist? Well, there were moments in Iron Fist when he was actually doing kung fu, and that was actually pretty cool. No one's really done anything cool yet in Humans.
Well, yeah, in Humans is worse because at least in Iron Fist you can say, well, at least the stuff with Meachums and the drama, that was actually really well done. In Humans is nothing.
Because it wasn't Iron Fist.
In Humans was fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Characters forget they have powers. Characters aren't allowed to have powers. Everything looks cheap.
Yeah. Well, hey, on the upside, it probably won't get a second season, so we probably won't have to worry about it.
Good. Just tell these characters, you're on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine. In fact, that's what it should have been. Inhumans should have spun out of like a special 2-night event for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Exactly. They should have done something like Coulson runs into Black Bolt when he's on Hawaii or something.
Here's my pitch for it right now. Daisy and Yo-Yo get a big alien light comes down. They get abducted by aliens. They get taken to the moon because, Black Bolt needed them for like a big battle that's going on in space. It's like calling all powerful Inhumans, oh, I've been watching you. And then, all the other agents have to try to get to the moon to help them. And, we learn the secret history of the Inhumans and the royal family and everything. And then you end that two-parter with a little stinger being like, oh, I think Maximus is going to betray them. And then, yeah, that's your lead-in for it.
There you go. And it would have been perfect as well because the new season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to take place 90% in space.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Which again, I can't blame them. Clearly, this was a project that they'd been hot potatoing for a bit. Like, oh, it's going to be a movie. Oh, we got Spider-Man back. Oh, we'll make it a TV show then. We'll make it an IMAX thing. We'll make it one season.
Yeah.
And who I feel more bad about than anything? I feel bad for Charles Soule, who spent so much of his life trying to up the profile of the Inhumans in Marvel Comics and make them important again and make them a focal point and make them all this other stuff in preparation for what was supposed to be the movie, then supposed to be the TV show, and now that it's actually here and that it's a fucking misfire, it's like shit.
Yeah, it's got to feel pretty bad. But at least he can say, well, at least they're really good on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and at least he can say, hey, at least my comics were good. If they were to do it right, they should have done it like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a little catch up on the TV, everyone, that we've been watching, and man, we almost already filled an hour. Holy shit!
Damn,
that's a lot of time. Do we want to talk about a couple comics from this week before we end the show? I think we should. Let's talk about Detective and Action and Dark Knight's Metal, because those are the three big ones.
Cool.
I'll let you talk about Action first, because I know you're the Superman.
Ooh, Actions this week was pretty damn good. A
lot of stuff happening. This Oz Effect story, just when I think I know where it's going, they buck me a little bit.
Yeah, I thought I knew exactly where it was going, and then it's like, nope, psych. It's all a prank.
Yeah, psych, double psych.
Yeah, so it's again the kind of battle of ideologies between Clark and Jor-El, and I kind of feel Jor-El's kind of saying the same thing over and over again a little bit. I get why he's saying it and everything, and why he has to say it to his son, who's completely, no, humans are good, they're always good, they can be good. But he's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go take your grandson.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny, this is what's interesting about Jor-El as a bad guy is that it's not like he can just fight Superman, because it's like he's not going to hit his own son or anything. So instead, he just decides to tire him down by creating a series of like horrible catastrophes all over the world that Superman has to respond to.
Yeah, and sort of kind of proving his point as well a little bit by saying these people are evil. They're horrible people.
I like we had like a collage, like another collage of human evil. Hey, we got some spousal abuse and some chemical weapons and some, child slavery and child hunger and everything.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And I think people are still getting angry about it as well. Like the last two episodes, because why is Superman stopping those Trump supporters from killing those obvious Mexican people?
Because he's a good guy and that's what he does.
Yeah, don't stop those immigrants, Superman.
Well, this was even funnier because we have a guy who takes over the Daily Planet with a gun and a bomb vest, screaming about fake news.
Who, Alex Jones?
Yeah, exactly. That was my thing where it's like, who could possibly have made this man do this? I'm doing it for Mr. Oz, yeah. He's the one. Everything is fake.
We also got the woman back that was with him as well. She's like, I guess Mr. Oz's right hand woman, because she's been around since the New 52. She was the original one who like delivered the journal to Clark and everything.
See, I didn't know that.
And she's at some reactor or something, gonna like blow up Metropolis or something.
Yeah, man, that city can't catch a break.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell she's gonna do. Transport Metropolis to this new Krypton or something, wherever.
That'd be cool.
Wherever Jor-El's planning on taking John.
Yeah, really. The bit with the gunman in the planet was really cool because it was a great moment for both Lois and John, because it's like, obviously this is just one fucking wingnut with a gun. John could totally take care of him, but he couldn't without outing himself to everyone.
Yeah, so he let Steve Lombard catch a bullet for him.
Yeah, which is like, man, Lombard, you're a dick, but thank you for taking a bullet for everybody. And Lois gets to be a hero too, and being like, look, let everyone else go. I'll be your hostage. I'll write your story for you. And it's funny, I actually saw some people complain about that scene, being like, oh, well, that's not good writing for a mother. A mother would get her own child to safety. I'm like, dudes, her child is bulletproof. He was the only one who wasn't in any danger there.
Yeah, if anything, she sent John with Perry so John could protect Perry.
Exactly. She was protecting everybody else in that scenario.
But something about that which really threw me is like when the guy was going to blow up the bomb, Jor-El obviously came and saved Lois. I thought maybe they were going to do like that whole thing where he's now taking Superman's place and it's like, look, I'm the new savior. I'm the better one. I'll do what's right and everything. But they're not going to do that. He just did it just because Lois obviously means a lot to Clark and added, as he said, added more to his life. And if she died, he would be a lost cause.
He would. He doesn't. It's like he wants to show the evils of humanity to his son, but he also doesn't want to hurt his son, which is very true and very fatherly. And the fact that he uses this, masterminded scenario where, little John feels hopeless and everything and helpless because he couldn't use his powers, to then like kind of ingratiate himself to Superboy and say, well, I'll give you a world where we can use our powers and we can, be out about it and everything. We don't have to hide.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out more about that world and whether it will stick around after this story, because I don't know whether it's like originally I thought, oh, maybe they're going to go to like the 31st century or something.
Ooh. Yeah, they did look very Legion of Superheroes, didn't they?
Yeah, I tried to see if like I could recognize any of them, but they all looked pretty generic, and I'm thinking, maybe it's that new Krypton that Zod was making.
Yeah, that's right. My mind jumped to that too. It's like, oh, so we've got another world of new Krypton, a world of newer Krypton.
Yeah, but really looking forward to finding how this story's going to end. It's ending in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Has some long-reaching effects, though, that's for sure, because, heck, over in the Detective Comics book, Tim Drake is still dealing with Mr. Oz's prison, and we learn a little bit more about the prison in this issue. Yeah,
about the prison and the Titans Tomorrow Batman.
Yes, this prison exists outside Hypertime, which might explain why we have all these multiversal characters showing up in it.
And why we have 2 Tim Drakes.
Absolutely. I think this strengthens the theory where it's like, yeah, maybe this guy is Jor-El, but as you've been theorizing, Matt, it's Jor-El, but not Jor-El as we know him from this timeline. It's a Jor-El from somewhere else in Hypertime that they grabbed.
Yeah, or something like that, or he figured out how to get into Hypertime or something.
Yeah, which I think is really cool and opens up a ton of ideas. And yeah, this issue is basically getting you up to speed on the Batman of tomorrow, the evil, more militaristic Tim Drake from another era, and what led him to essentially, take over Gotham and turn it into a police state.
And it was pretty cool. I like the way how they did it. This book as well also is probably like a record setting for like splash pages. I think it had like 5 or 6 of them or something.
And they were all beautiful. My favorite one is like Tim Drake explaining, like, yeah, when you were young, we didn't want to be Batman, but we fell into the role because everyone else fucked up.
Yeah, everyone else, Dick, Jason, Damian, everyone fucked up and weren't good at it. You're the only one who was good at it.
they either left or died young or just went crazy.
I like how they gave Jason the short end of the stick. He didn't die. He like took on a bunch of like ninja assassins and like lost a leg and eye and an arm, and now he's like a drunk hobo.
Yeah, which it's like, you know what, that's his life in a nutshell, isn't it? His life is defined by tragedy. That is how his life would end, unfortunately. There's no good end for Jason Todd. It's funny, the bit with Damian seeks to imply that the future we saw in Grant Morrison's Batman 666 actually does come to pass, and Damian does become Batman, but he becomes like a Judge Dredd Batman. I
think it does, because isn't that coming back as well? Like that universe coming back in Batman or Super Sons or something?
It always comes back every so often. They keep drawing reference to it, and every time we see flash forwards to Damian, that's the costume he's wearing in the future.
Yep.
Which I like too. Someone was actually arguing there, being like, "Oh, you know, we can't trust Tim Drake's account of these events here, because he says that, you know, like Damian was gonna burn Gotham to the ground, so I had to kill him, and that was my first act as Batman." And someone was trying to argue, like, look, you know, Damian gets the short end of the stick. You know, yes, he was going to burn down Gotham, but that's a lot better than, you know, taking it over and turning it into a police state. And I'm like, well, that's debatable.
Yeah, mass genocide. You know, police state, mass genocide, police state.
I mean, yes, both are bad. We get into a very V for Vendetta situation there, where it's like, can you fight fascism with anarchy? But I'm sure if you asked the people in Gotham before, you know, Damian lit the match and was going to burn them all, they'd be like, hey, please don't burn me. Police state, sure, I'll take it. But yeah, so he talks about how he came to power and everything, and, you know, Tim has the classic, you know, I'll never be you, I could never be you.
Yeah, but he really is, because he can't escape fate.
Yeah, and how even though they totally disagree with each other, they're both really smart, and they put their brains together to defeat Doomsday.
Yeah, in a really cool way as well.
Indeed, where it's like, who's someone that Doomsday will hate way more than us that we can get him onto?
Oh, Superman.
Genius. That's why you guys are the big brains of this team. And then they ended on one hell of a stinger, where it's like, you know, Batman of Tomorrow saves Tim, drops him off in Gotham, and says, okay, cool, I brought you back now. You're not going to change your fate. You will become me. But, you know, to make your life a little easier, if nothing else, please say, you know, please apologize to Connor.
Yeah.
Of course, talking about Connor Kent, the Superboy.
Yeah, who doesn't exist.
Who does not exist, who, when asked, Tim's like, who's Superboy? Who's Connor Kent? And this, like, flips a huge switch in Batman of Tomorrow's mind, be like, well, he's not here? You know, this universe has been doctored, it's been changed? Then there's still time. I can save the Bat family. I can save everybody.
Yeah, I'll just have to kill Batwoman.
I'll just have to kill Batwoman, who, according to him, was the reason that the Bat family fell, that she was the one, that she's apparently not the person everyone thinks she is.
That's going to be an interesting story. I know that the Batman of Tomorrow, he's going to be the villain in that Super Sons, Superman, Teen Titans crossover.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, they mention the Batman of Tomorrow, and they call him that in this, so, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe he sets his sight on Superboy, and maybe thinking killing John will bring Connor back.
Interesting, very interesting, because that's been like a whole thing throughout DC Rebirth. It's like, man, Jonathan Kent is really awesome as the Superboy. Is anyone going to mention there was another Superboy? No, everyone forgets Connor. Okay, that's fine. I mean, Connor wasn't good in the New 52, so I can't blame you for not talking about him.
Well, the thing is that Connor was a different one. That one wasn't the Superman Lex Luthor clone that everyone loves, that Jeff Johns wrote a really great story. The one in the New 52 was like, yeah, some really weirdo clone that no one really cared about.
That they retconned a bunch, and he was never good, and no one liked him. Which, hey, you know what? If this is their plan, if this is all to bring back OG Connor, now that they've explained that, you know, this Oz prison can grab people from different time and space, that's how you bring them back. You bring him back, and you don't have to do anything. Just be like, yeah, hey, here's Connor Kent as you remember him.
Yeah. Hopefully they do that.
Of course, then they'll have to deal with having extra Superboys running around.
Oh, he can just become like Superman, like another Superman.
Sure, we have two Flashes. Why not? You can be Superman too.
Yeah.
I mean, also, are you really married to the boy, the Superboy? You're more like super teen, super young adult. Do you want to go by super YA now? YA novels are really big at the moment. We'll just call you SB. How about that, SB? Good job. But knowing him, he was super no frills anyway. He barely even had a costume. He was like, just call me Connor. Just call me Connor, that's fine. But then Connor Hawk will come back and be like, no, you can't just call him Connor, because I'm Connor Hawk. What now?
Battle of the Connors.
Oh, there's your next summer event right there. Everyone named Connor has to fight. You got Connor Kent and Connor Hawk and Connor McGregor.
Spitting out of the pages of Doomsday Clock.
All the Connors got to get together and fight it out. And meanwhile, over in Marvel, they start printing my Sam League book of, Sam Wilson and, Samson and all the other great Sam Alexander Nova. Just put all the Sams in there. It'll be great. But yeah, so Detective is cool, and it looks like it's only going to get cooler from here.
Yeah.
Now, Dark Knight's Metal, that continued this week. This continued to roll on. In fact, this will be the last new issue we're going to get for a couple weeks, because that one actually hit some delays. This was a very Superman-centric issue, which I was not expecting for a book that has been so about Batman.
Yeah, well, that's why I really like this Metal, because it is a Batman story, but it remembers that it's also a DC Universe story. So you get all these other characters. In this one, you got like all the League, you got Detective Chimp, Nightmaster, all these.
Dude, fucking how cool was Nightmaster in this?
Oh, he was pretty cool until he got a sword to the head.
But even that was cool. He went out like a fucking boss too. He's like, not in my bar, freaks. Captain goes down with his ship, and the barman goes down with the bar. That's funny too, because Detective Chimp, Nightmaster, the Oblivion Bar. That's all Shadowpack stuff. Ragman was on Shadowpack, and Ragman came out this week too.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet, but I've been hearing good things though.
Me too. Apparently it's awesome.
It's written by Ray Fawkes, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So he's always been running hot and cold for me, but I want to support him.
If it's anything like his Gotham by Midnight, it'll be great.
Well, it's paranormal, so yeah. This looks to be right up your alley. So there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dark Knight's Metal. We check on in with Superman, who's been lashed to that weird body cross thing we've been seeing from Gotham Resistance, that, the Dark Knights are trying to change the vibrations of our Earth so it'll fall into the Dark Universe.
Yeah, so they'll have a place to live.
Yeah, which, makes sense. I mean, if you're an invading force, you want to make it more like the place you're from.
Mm-hmm, yep.
This is what they do. It's great, too, because it's Wonder Woman who saves him by using the lasso of truth, and I'm like, yes, Scott Snyder remembers that's a power the lasso of truth has. It makes you tell the truth, and it also breaks all mind control.
He read the recent Wonder Woman books.
Oh, do they use it again like that too? They use it.
They use it in some really cool ways in the Wonder Woman book recently.
It's a great artifact, and people forget it can do more than just make you tell the truth.
Yeah.
It's also freaking unbreakable. That's also pretty great.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I like that he's only been there for like a week or something.
Yeah, but it felt like 3 years.
Yeah, he's been like battling Barbatos over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. It's great too. We see the Super Sons in one of his visions formed a family band with their big hit "Nana Nana 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 Batman." They wrote that. That was them.
Well, that becomes the key, though. That's the key.
It does. Again, this whole issue has been built around music, and indeed this whole event, because as we know from reading stuff like Final Crisis and Multiversity, the language of the multiverse, of the 52 Earths, and how you travel is via musical chords.
Yeah, via music. When you're traveling through, like they did that in Multiplicity and the Superman, like they had that the song ship and everything, and all stuff like Grant Morrison made.
Grant Morrison stoner idea, like, oh, it's all music.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that that's like kind of brought back into canon a little bit.
It is. I really dig it. And also, too, we learn like the danger phrase, the code phrase that the Trinity has for each other if like ever anything's really bad. And for Superman, the phrase is Carpe Diem, which is C and D for Clark and Diana, and also the chords of the Nana Nana Batman C and D. Yeah,
and as we find out, it's a kind of warning, not a rescue, not an SOS. It's a warning to stay away.
Yeah, really cool stuff. Also, very fitting, too, because Carpe Diem, of course, means seize the day, and in the end, the day is seized, but not the way you want it to be.
No, definitely not.
we learn a little bit about the Devastator in this book too, the Doomsday Batman, ahead of his own little tie-in. We find out he's from an Earth where Batman shot himself full of Doomsday DNA in order to fight a crazy Superman.
Yeah, we saw like these panels. I think from New York Comic Con or just after that, where it's Batman fighting Superman, and he's got like it's kind of like a Bane belt. Like he hit belt and it injects him with the venom, and it's kind of like that with this Doomsday thing, and turns him into Doomsday.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, those tie-ins have all been really cool. I'm interested to see what comes next from it.
Yeah, I think Drowned is up next.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and we got a hint of like who the Drowned is, and apparently it's the Mirror.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely some fun stuff here because they start off what is essentially the fetch quest for the rest of the event, and that is, look, we all have one guy on our team who has connection to the metal, and we know by reading Gotham Resistance that you need nth metal to kill one of these Dark Knights, or else they'll just sap your power. So let's go on a weapon quest, essentially.
Yeah, and each group has like their own person who's connected to the metal. So like Steel is now relevant again.
Yes. Yeah, because he has a freaking nth metal hammer. Why not? Dr. Fate, boom, nth metal helmet.
Yeah, Dr. Fate's back as well. He's not like that kid from DCU anymore. I think he's properly Kent Nelson or something.
He is.
Yeah.
He is, I'm pretty sure. I didn't read the Blue Beetle book, but I know he was a fixture in that for a minute.
Oh, okay.
And again, he's connected to magic, and he kind of helped. I love it. He saved everybody in this, much like he saved everybody in Injustice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, took him to the tower.
It's like writers realize, man, I need a really good Deus Ex Machina here to get the heroes out of danger. Oh, fucking Dr. Fate.
Yeah, he's got a special tower that no one could touch.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. I like that. And then Deathstroke just kind of saunters in out of nowhere. It's like, hey, bitches, I'm in this story now, too.
Yeah, I just killed a Robin.
Yeah, I do that. Also, I like this is the one thing that Scott Snyder actually gets a little wrong. He says, oh, Deathstroke has a Promethean suit and sword. No, he doesn't. He has a Promethean sword, but the suit is an Icon suit. It's different than the suit he had before. He just got that in his new DC Rebirth series.
Well, remember, this takes place before all the new stuff in DC Rebirth. It's like DC Rebirth and then this event.
It does, but he's wearing his new costume though in this.
Ah, God. 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, maybe it was an art mistake, but he's wearing the new Icon suit, and I'm like, you're only half right. Yes, he does have Promethean metal on him, but just the sword, not the suit.
Time to Twitter abuse Scott Snyder.
Yeah, exactly, because obviously that's how you fix any problem in the comic community, and that works for everybody. Commentary on the comic multiverse. But yeah, it was cool. It's great too because they teamed Deathstroke up with Aquaman, which is a meeting I don't think I've never thought I wanted until I got it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I like when they're going down. He's like talking about like, so what's the deal with mermaids?
So if I want to fuck a mermaid, how would I go about that, Aquaman? He's like, please stop talking to me.
Yeah, I'm about to commit like high treason.
And Slade's like, look, man, I've fucked all the creatures of the land, so, need to start branching out into the sea a little bit. I'm a sex offender. Did you know that? No, seriously, that's canon. They had a chance to change that, but they didn't. In fact, they doubled down on my being a sex offender. How do you feel about that, Aquaman? All the people they teamed you up with, and they teamed you up with me. But it's okay, because I'm a hero, though, in my new book. I found God. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just lying. I don't know. But yeah, metal was cool. I liked you because, and I'm sure you appreciated this, that it once again really establishes Superman as like the most important center of the DC universe. It
does. He's very important in this. And also, like, one thing writers tend to forget, he's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who came up with the idea of using the Phantom Zone generator to permeate the membrane of universes.
Genius idea.
And he's like, I'll use Flash because he has Speed Force.
Yeah, he travels through different universes and travels through time all the time. If I use this and I use the anti-monitors and Tinnitus, surely this will work.
Yeah, and it kind of does, but but it doesn't.
It's like, man, Superman, you were right every step of the way, and that's where you fucked up.
It's because the Batman who last knew you would do that.
That's true of the Batman, the Dark Knights, all along the way. They've known exactly what the heroes were going to do, and the heroes have acted perfectly in character all along.
Yep.
Like, they fuck over Batman because they knew he wasn't going to talk to his friends. They knew he was going to run ahead and try and fix it himself, which is how they were able to trap him. And they knew Superman would figure it out, but he would figure out the wrong part of it.
Yeah, figure it out of sequence.
Yeah, it's like they knew, and that's how it worked. And I like they're saying, hey, we're trying to change the vibration of the Earth. And that's hard when we're just using everyday people. But if we had someone like Superman, who's incredibly powerful, we could do this in like an afternoon.
Yeah, if we have someone like who's basically a living battery.
Yeah, that's right, because he's full of solar energy.
Mm-hmm.
He is a giant human battery. He's the greatest Duracell of all time. Duracell, man, he keeps going and going and going. Also, you gotta love, too, 3 issues in, and we're fucked.
Yeah, they're not fucking around.
No, 3 issues in, the villains complete their plan.
Yeah, and we still have, obviously, 3 issues left to go. We got Batman Lost, plus all the tie-ins. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, lot going on with this event. It's only been going for a little bit, but they've already gotten about as much out as an average event.
Yeah, which I'm really interested to see what they've got left.
Absolutely. And then, hey, while this is going on, I think we figured this out. This and Doomsday Clock are actually going to be going at the same time.
Either the same time or like they're like an issue apart or something. Doomsday Clock starts on the November 22nd, and I think by then most of Metal is out. I think it's probably got like maybe 2 issues left or something.
Like, I think they were just going to miss it, but now because Metal got delayed by like 4 weeks or something.
Yeah.
They're going to be happening around the same time, which is like, goddamn, DC just wants all our money, don't they?
Oh, they can have it. They've had really good events.
Yeah, right now. I mean, I don't think they've really had a stinker up until this point. Well, Judas Contract was a bit of a stinker, but that was so forgettable, no one even remembers it.
Yeah, well, going off the original Metal checklist, and it's probably going to be a couple of weeks later now, it's going to finish on the 14th of February next year.
Right.
Wow.
Okay, then.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be with us for a bit, Metal.
Yeah.
So on that note, everybody, I guess we can start bringing the show down here. This was good, Matt. I like that we got to dedicate so much time to TV and yet still talk comics.
Yeah, there was a lot of good TV out, and there's still a lot to come.
Yeah, for future reference, we'll have to do this again when there's like a dead, no news time. Usually that's when we do Q&A or do a commentary, but we'll have to do another thing to keep up with TV.
Yeah, definitely.
And thank you, fans who wanted to return to Cape TV and wanted to hear me and Matt talk about television again. We did it.
Yeah, people have been asking for it for a while. They've been really wanting it.
People really, really seem to dig that, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So yeah, with that, everyone, we'll bring the show down to a close. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite. Check Matt and myself out on all our different social medias. Be sure to check down in the description of this very video. You'll find all sorts of ways to support Matt and myself, whether that means becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month. Thank you, someone who gave probably one of the most generous donations yet to the Patreon. I won't out you, but you know who you are. I actually wrote you a special message there because I was blown away by the generosity of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. So yeah, thank you. Also, hey, if you're looking to buy some comic books and you don't want to pay a cent for shipping and handling, use Book Depository. It's no joke Matt and mine's favorite place for getting comics. And if you use our link down in this very video, you'll be helping support us, and that's always appreciated. So you'll be getting some, we'll be getting some. It's all good.
It is. It is Christmas coming up. Christmas coming up as well. So yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. Buy all your gifts via Book Depository is what we're saying. Everyone loves books. Everyone loves to read. Read it up.
Yeah.
And with that, everyone, I'm going to bring this one down. Thank you for watching. I've been Joel.
I'm Matt.
And we will see you all next week. Same Comic Multiverse time, same Comic Multiverse place. Bye-bye.
Bye.